Yo, welcome back to another video. We're once again taking a look at Osdt. It's been a while since I covered this tournament. I streamed a couple matches here and there, but I haven't made a video on it since round one because, procrastination. But yes, we're now in Top Cut. So from here on out, I will be doing a probably weekly video, just doing predictions for that week. This is like the biggest stage of like the biggest doubles tournament of the year, individual wise. So good to cover this. Before we get started here, we'll just like take a brief look at my predictions from previously and how they actually stacked up to what actually happened. Spoiler, per usual, I only got like half or less of things right because I'm just too good at this. So yeah, I am joined by Despacito, Suckylucky, and then not Shister anymore, Rip Shister. Let's see. Okay, so starting off here, we had this bracket which I made like primarily kind of like as a joke before like the tournament even started, and it was actually a pretty funny video. But like, I did get a few things right. I got Chris making cut, Nito, Rat Packer, Raph, Act, Zern. Did Yoda? Let's see. I think he had too many losses earlier. Z didn't. Bagel and Fake Game did. Madara did. ESM did. SMB did. Sempra did. And Akaru did. So I was like close to 50% of the people who made cut, which I guess could be worse. But I think we did see like a fair number of people we would have expected to like go far in this tournament get like knocked off early. Make top cut. There's just a lot of people right now that are a little bit burned out of the game. Probably didn't. There are a few people that dropped off or didn't even play games, just didn't bother. But yeah, so people we have remaining: Rat Packer, Yellow Paint. This match already got played. Rat Packer won. Might cover that. I'm not sure. Frixel, Piyush, singles player, but has made it really far in this tournament. Has been playing pretty well. I guess Frixel, who's had a really solid run. He went like 7-0, won his first 7 matches to make top cut from there. ESM following up a strong DPL performance. And Arctic Glass, who has decided to play the game again. Run. And someone I think I'm surprised I didn't predict to make top cut in the first place. That's a fraudulent prediction on my end. Against Nito, OST veteran, won the first one, and I think top cut the last 2 as well. Top 8 last year, I think. Zern, another very solid player, one of the best Team Tour players the last like year or so, making top cut just like last year against Whoosh Mania, someone I never even heard of before this tour, but they've been playing very well.
I actually played this guy. Yeah, he looks pretty promising. I don't know about against Cern, but
yeah, fair.
Definitely a match to watch.
That's a rough matchup, but I'm curious to see if this guy can do it because it's not often we really get like someone like brand new like this going so far in this tour. That's cool to see. Juma had a very strong run featuring Screamtail. Madara, one of the best individual doubles players, basically does really well at every single individual tour there is, and puts up decent records in team tours as well. He's had a solid run. I'll have to be honest, I haven't really paid too much attention to his games, but this is by no means does it surprise me him making it this far. He like pretty much always puts up results like this.
Yeah.
Oblivion Wing, decent player. I've heard good things about them, but they've made like a very good run here as well, proving themselves at one of the higher levels. Staraptor, a player who I believe played in Doubles World Cup, has some pretty solid results overall. Glad to see them here as well. Act, who's surprised here? No one. Demantoid, not someone that really plays too much anymore, but really like a very excellent player. Just not as active as he used to be. Elodin, singles player, had a decent run, a couple funny sets. Chris, coming back once again, solely for OSDT to put up another solid top cut run. Pretty impressive for him to make it this far, despite really having like not played very much the last like year or so since, or it hasn't quite been a year since last OSDT because this one got moved up a lot, but very good on him because he hasn't really been playing in tours as much, but always very consistent when it comes to things like this. Akaru, another doubles tour veteran. Fan game. Had a good run, basically spamming one team like he always does. However, Fan Room is a very, very strong archetype in this format, so I'm glad to see him doing well with that team because it really is a dominant archetype, and it doesn't really surprise me that he's been able to find success with it. Like, despite people trying to counter him every week. Raph, another good player. Star singles player. Raph been around doubles for a long time. Played in SCL. Despacito, who's here with me in call right now, putting up a very solid run using fun mods like Registeel, fun in quotation marks.
Very
Against
fun.
Shuri 2, player for Team Spain and Doubles World Cup, had some decent results, played in a few team tournaments. Pretty good for him to like prove himself here. But we'll have to see where he can go from here. Sempra, VGC player, top 8 at Worlds last year. This is a really good matchup right here. We'll talk about this a fair amount later. Against Bagel, Invites champion. And Sylveon used Combine, another singles player against Flying Beagle. Primarily a draft player previously, but has played a lot of doubles the last like several months. Been performing well. Dad won. So I'm honestly like kind of surprised, put in the effort to like really play on this tour, but he's done really, really well. And then SMB, again, who's surprised by this? This is another good matchup. 2 longtime doubles players. And then Voltix versus Lions. Voltix, really good Spanish player who's had, honestly, really good results all around recently. He's been a solid player for a while, but I think like the last like several months, his results have really been impressive to me. And then Lions, primarily an old gens player, plays some singles as well. So yeah, those are the matchups. I guess we'll just start with Frixel versus Piyush. What do you guys think about this one?
I gotta give the odds to Frixel, just because I feel like it's a better player.
Yeah, fair. I think Frixel's play has really impressed me, and he's more of a doubles player as well. Just take a look at some of. I think there's a post somewhere that has. Let's see. Like who people played in the previous rounds. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Frixel. Okay, yeah, this is pretty solid. Bracket, especially towards the end here. Let's see. Oh, played JRL early. That's interesting. I do think Frixel definitely had a more challenging bracket so far, and really just more of a doubles player in general. And I bet he'll be more motivated for this as well. I think it's like actually his main tier. So I'll give the edge to Frixel here. ESM versus Arctic. This is a pretty good matchup. Arctic, not really as much of like a competitive player like the last, like in the time I've been around, but very like respectable. However, I think I have to give the edge to ESM just because like he's looked really, really good. Just like in general, the last like year or so, has put up like really, really good team tour records. I just think ESM has just played a lot more in general, and it's a little bit easier for me to. I think he also like qualified sooner in the bracket as well. I think Arctic came down in the final week. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Arctic did. I don't remember when ESM got in, but yeah, I think I have to agree. I don't really know either. I don't think I've either played either of them ever, so it's kind of hard to say. But I know that Eternal Snowman's record is probably better overall.
Yeah, fair.
More recently.
Yeah, it's definitely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little bit tricky for me to like go for Arctic last year because this is actually like the first tour I've seen him play of SV since like a year ago. I'm excited to see if like what he can do here, but I think ESO has got to be the favorite based on like DPL performance, etc. All right, Ant versus Nito.
Yeah,
This is a really good matchup. Uh, hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I have to like based on Nito's other OSDT runs and just general performance. I think Nito's gonna win this personally.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's very difficult to root against Nito or like predict against him here.
Yeah.
I think this is very, very close. I do think Nito is like a little bit like a little bit busy right now. Probably doesn't have like quite as much time as like in previous years to prep for this. I do think he has like maybe it's like slightly better overall SV records than Ann. So I will predict Nito here, but I expect Ann will make this close, and Ann is like someone who very much has my respect at this game. But I do think Nito has just played more SV overall, where because Ann primarily plays like SM and other older gens and like DPL and stuff. But I think Nito has more current gen experience. I'm excited to see this one though. I got to make sure I tune in for this. All right, Zern versus Whoosh Mania. I'm sorry for the newer player, but really I can't predict against Zern here. Not really too much to say.
That's a tough pull. Round one, but I mean, I'm sure we'll see some cool stuff from him. Hopefully, he'll bring it to game 3. But
yeah, let's see what his bracket there was. Let's see.
Big Pichu. Yo, he played you.
Pichu? Yeah, he beat Pichu. I beat him.
Okay. Yeah. It's a half decent bracket. It's not like one of the scariest here, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
A couple respectable singles players in there, as well as obviously Despacito. Yeah, you just can't really predict against Zern. Against someone who's
gotta give it to him for this.
Like fresh off the block. All right, G-Ba versus Madara. This is a lot of good matchups here. I think I got to give the edge to Madara. I really think he's very, very difficult to beat in these individual tours. G-Ba like has played well on this tour, in particular, but I think like Madara is probably going to be one of their like most difficult opponents so far. I definitely think this could go either way, but I think by edge, or I gotta give the edge to Madara, just because I've seen like from experience that he's just like very, very good at playing these like BO frees, especially when it gets down to like the later parts of tours. Yeah. Like his sets in like the seasonal like a year ago were really good. Last OSDT, his throw kind of got like he had some really rough matchups like early on in the tour, and so he didn't end up making top cut. But now that he's here, I think it's really difficult to predict against him. Yeah, I think G-Ba's played some really good opponents, but I think really a lot of these people are not really probably not going to be quite as focused as Madara will be in this set in particular. All right.
I think if he brings Screamtail, he'll win, but I don't think he'll bring Screamtail.
That's true.
I think the Screamtail can only bring you so far.
That might be true.
That's not a Manu bring versus Madara and hope to win.
All right, Oblivion Wing versus Staraptor. This is a good matchup. Also, 2011 is crazy.
Yeah, I was noticing that earlier. 2011 with 280 reaction score.
Only 280 messages. Too.
Yeah,
I think they've only really started like playing like actively.
Yeah,
like,
that's
recently.
what it must be like.
Yeah,
they made the account a long time ago and just never got on. But
I don't really know too much about either of these players. I'm gonna give the advantage to Oblivion Wing just because I've heard more about them from like other people than I have about Staraptor. But I've been like these are two like newer players I've been like keeping an eye on. So I'm excited to see how this match turns out. I'm really just like kind of making a 50-50 judgment call here. Do you guys have anything?
I feel like I've seen Oblivion Wing in more tours than Staraptor. Like in SV tours at least, because that's all I really play in.
Yeah, that would line up with what I've seen.
Yeah, slight Oblivion Wing edge, just for no reason.
little bit more name recognition there. All right, Act versus Demantoid. Oh, this is a killer matchup. However, I'm not really sure like how much like Demantoid cares about SV at all, because this is like the first time I've ever actually seen him play SV. And Act is a difficult opponent, so I'm gonna lean Act here. But this is a good set. Like if Demantoid like cares, I've heard like things from like Faye in the past that like several years ago, like when Faye was like somewhat paying attention to doubles but not really involved. Like Demantoid was a really scary player apparently. Uh, he kind of tends to use like this is interesting because these are both two players that are very good but also like have a tendency to bring like more niche Pokemon. This is a good set. I am gonna give the advantage to Act though because it's just like has actually played SP prior to this tour, whereas I don't doubt Demantoid is like still very good at the game. It's just like in a lot of these tours, it kind of comes down to metagame experience.
I agree. Yeah, when they're on like probably roughly equal like skill level, actually probably has the advantage here.
Yeah,
just because he's actually been playing. Yeah, so
right.
Probably
all right.
But you never know.
Elodin versus Chris. Elodin's impressed me. This tour had a good run last year as well, but I do think Chris like has been playing pretty well recently, and I also just he's an actual doubles player, so I'm gonna give the advantage to Chris. But this is gonna be not a walk in the park for Chris here. He's gonna have to play well because Elodin clearly knows the game, but Chris has done well in like several OSDTs, so it's hard for me to like root first or like give the advantage to a singles player over him. When Chris has experience like this late in like doubles tours previously, has played against some of like the best in the tier, whereas Elodin just doesn't have quite as much experience with that. The good set, but I gotta give the advantage to Chris.
Yeah, I think I agree. I know Chris from 2v2, and he's always a very tough opponent. I've never seen Elodin play ever. What is he main? What's his main?
I have no idea, but he has all 3 Team Tour trophies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I guess Chris Edge, but you never know with a player like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, this could be a good set. All right, Akaru versus Fan Game.
That's it for sure.
2 very good doubles players here. I'm gonna predict Fan Game just because Fan Room is just that good. It's such an annoying team. I just feel like he's gonna still perform pretty well. However, I'm not gonna count Akaru out because I think probably the more safer pick would actually be Akaru here. But I'm gonna go with Fan Game just because Fan Room is just that good a team. And I think
you already know
the fact that
you can't do anything about it.
Fan Game, what makes Fan Game such a difficult opponent is the amount of experience he has running the team he runs. Because he runs it like in everything. So it's like when he simultaneously has that experience, like spamming a team over and over, and the team happens to be good for once. No offense to the previous iterations of Fan Room, but Snow was never like as meta as it is now. I think that really makes him a very difficult opponent to face in this tour.
Also, the slot monitor
for Akaru.
The 6 he brings can be pretty much anything he wants, so it's not like you can perfectly plan for it.
Yeah. All right. Raph versus Star. Star has played pretty well at DPL and in this tour as well. However, Raph is kind of cooking right now. I can't lie. He's cooking. I'm not going to root against Raph. This is an interesting matchup. Star has played well, and against like doubles mains as well. But I do think like Raph is he's been playing really well lately. Let me check out the strength for their brackets really quickly here. Raph. Yeah, this is a difficult schedule. That's a difficult schedule. Also a difficult schedule, but not on the same level, I'd say. So I'm still going to give the advantage to Raph. I think he's had a more difficult schedule in this tour, and I've seen Star play like SSDOU more than I've actually seen him play like SV. He's definitely proven that he can like hang with like some of like the better doubles players, so he could definitely pull this one out. But Raph has just more SV DOU experience and just someone I also find difficult to root against or like predict against, you know, just based on like
Yeah, Raph is like
long history of playing the game.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. Yeah.
All right, Despacito versus Shuritu. Completely unbiased, I'm predicting Despacito. Moving on. All right, Sempra versus Bagel. Oh, this is a really good matchup. It might be the highlight of the entire week, to be honest. Sempra's had like a fair like number of like games in DOU by this point. You can no longer really like write him off as like, well, not really write him off. People were never doing that, but you can no longer like solely refer to him as just like a VGC player because he has like a pretty decent amount of like experience playing DOU at this point. Like if this was like a year ago, I'd have predicted just Bagel like all the way, but this is a very like close game. I think the advantage is still to Bagel because I think he's more likely to actually build for himself here. I don't really know if Semper's building his own teams or getting them from somewhere else. Because obviously he has like VGC to contend with, etc., etc. But Bagel's just looked pretty formidable this tour. He actually had some like really tough matchups late in the tour, despite being in like the X2 bracket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elodin, Fran, Sundays, Tenzai, Idol. That was not an easy schedule. And he's definitely like proven himself in a lot of these matches. Obviously, what is got like a little bit lucky. Schedule it would be like difficult to not get a little lucky like cut. So I'm not gonna hold that against him here. So I will predict Bagel here. I just think more likely to build like a specific team for the matchup, you know? And I think that can go a long way, especially when it gets down to these like later rounds, and that is really what a lot of it comes down to is like scouting and prepping well. Any thoughts here?
No, I do not think.
Yeah, pretty much what you said. Bagel, more serious player, I guess here.
Sylveon used Calm Mind versus Flying Beagle. I've seen Sylveon play like a little bit of DOU, but I do think like Flying Beagle generally just has more support and plays doubles more. So I will give the advantage to Flying Beagle. I haven't really been particularly impressed by Sylveon's like play to the extent I'd like predicted for them against like a established DOU community member, you know?
Yeah, Sylveon's like the guy I always predict against when I see him. Usually.
Damn, that's crazy.
I have to go Flying Beagle. I mean, sorry to say, but like when you're against like anyone in a that's like decent, I gotta give the edge to the other person.
Damn, GG. All right.
Crazy.
No offense.
Dad 1 versus SMB. Oh, this is a cooking matchup as well. I think
I want to say SMB.
Yeah, I think the advantage has to go to SMB. Just he's played like a lot more not more SV than Dad 1 has. Dad 1's had some good tour results recently. DPP, he won one of those tours, but I think he's like barely played SV to be honest. He did ladder for ladder tour a fair amount, but SMB like put up like really good results, like particularly like latter half of 2023, made finals of a seasonal, and obviously it's SMB. So I'm gonna predict SMB here. It's a safer prediction, I think, but this is another one I'm looking forward to.
Oh, for sure, yeah. This would be a highlight match.
All right, Voltix versus Lions. I've just been really impressed by the way Voltix has played like lately. NatDex World Cup as well as he had some good games in DPL. I didn't have the greatest record, but he was playing like tiers I've never really seen him play before, and he held his own. I think maybe he might have wished he did like a little bit better, but he had like some pretty nice wins. And in the games he lost, I don't think he played badly either. And I think he's been playing well a lot lately, including in SV. With Lions, I don't really see them as a current gen player as much. I'm just gonna say Advanced Voltics here.
Yeah. A more reputable player.
Yeah, sure. All right, well, I think that's basically it. Look forward to some of these matchups hopefully being casted. It kind of depends. I'm like going to be unavailable all day Saturday, but hopefully Sunday I'll get some of these casted. And then we'll get a recap or something or predictions for next week up as well. So yeah, thanks for hopping on, guys. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.